Class 12. Welcome to the online tutorial sessions for economics. I am Avnash Lambert, your economics guru, and today we are going to continue our fourth chapter, which is money and banking. Students, today we are going to complete our seventh function of central bank, which was credit control. In the previous video, we had completed the quantitative measures, and today we are here with the qualitative measures. So in the qualitative measures, there are basically three measures, which is moral suasion, margin requirements, and credit rationing. Now let's start with the moral suasion. The first one is moral suasion. Now persuasion and request. What is persuasion? To influence someone, and request by the central government. The central government request the commercial bank to the commercial banks for what? To follow the monetary policy of the central bank. Whatever central bank is asking, or whatever guidelines which have issued by the central bank, the commercial bank must follow all those guidelines and the monetary policy. Now, how they do that? They do that by discussion, by giving letters, by delivering speeches, by giving advices. And why they do that? To restrict money supply, to limit the money supply. So that is the moral suasion. Basically, moral suasion happens in your home. Your parents, your father, your mother, your grandfather, grandmother, they all persuade you. There is moral suasion. They ask you to follow the rules of the house. And if you don't follow, they take out the belt, they take out the sleepers, and then they restrict all the indiscipline which you create in your homes. So just like that, the central bank persuade and request the central bank, the commercial bank, to follow the monetary policies which are given by the central bank. Why? To restrict the money supply. How? By discussion, by giving letters, by speeches, by advices, etc. Understood? Now let's come to the second one, which is margin requirements. Suppose there is one person who wants loan. Suppose that person is Rishu. Rishu wants the loan from Axis Bank of rupees 1 lakh rupees. Now Axis Bank will ask for some security. They don't give loans as it is. They ask for some security which is worth more than that the loan. So if Rishu wants the loan of 1 lakh rupees, then Axis Bank is charging 1,20,000 rupees as security. Either they want his car or his papers of his bungalow. At least they want the security worth rupees 1,20,000. Now this is one scenario, and there is one more scenario, that the same bank asks for the security of rupees 1,50,000 for the same amount of loan. Now what happens once Rishu has taken the loan from the Axis Bank of rupees 1 lakh by giving the security of 1,20,000? He will come back again for one more loan, but this time Axis Bank is saying that no, we won't give you loan of rupees 1 lakh unless and until you give us the security of 1,50,000. Now this time Rishu will not take loan from Axis Bank. Why? Because they have increased the value of security. Now that is the thing in the margin requirements. Basically, what is margin requirements? It is the difference between the value of security and the amount of loans. Now here, if you take this example, here the margin is 1,20,000 minus 1 lakh. The margin is 20,000 rupees. But here the margin is 50,000 rupees. How? 1,50,000 minus 1 lakh rupees. So here the margin has increased. So if you can increase, if the commercial bank increases the margin, then the people won't be coming for the commercial banks for loans, and that's how they control the money supply. Basically, they are controlling the money supply. The money won't reach to the people. That's how they increase the margin, and that's how they control the money supply. And the last one is credit rationing. Under the credit rationing, The imposing limits, they impose some limits and charging of higher or lower rates of interest in selective sectors. They select few sectors and they decide and they limit the higher rates or lower rates. They decided according to the scenario. Suppose there are different types of loan: education loans, car loans, private loans, home loans. Now, for education loans, there is 8 to 10% interest rate. For car loans, there is 12 to 15% interest rate. For private loans, there is 20 to 22% interest rate, and for home loans, this is 10%. Now, if you have noticed that home loans and education loans are comparatively lesser than the car loans and private loans. Why? Because education and homes are essential. For the essential things, government, the central bank, the commercial bank, they gives us loans at a very lower interest rate. But for the private loans, for the car loans, because they are not necessary things, that's why they charge higher amounts of interest rate. Now, if they are charging higher amount of interest rate, people will not be taking loans and the money supply will be contracted. The money supply can be controlled. That's how, with the help of credit rationing, they select the areas. Here, the car, the automobile sector, the private loans, they have selected this sector and they have imposed the limits of the higher rates so that people don't take loans much here, and they have decreased the limit of education loans. Why? Because they want that people should be educated, and that's why they will take the loans for the education loans. Now, such measures restrict the flow of credit to the particular sector. If the commercial bank doesn't want you take loans for cars, then that particular sector, that automobile sector, will have the less flow of money. So students, that is your qualitative measures and the functions of central banks is completed. Now students, we are going to do some more little topics which we have missed out, and we will continue in this same video. The next topic is lending rate and borrowing rate, and what is the profit, how the profit comes for the commercial banks. Now, what is lending rate? The rate of interest. It is the rate of interest at which commercial banks gives or lends loan to the investors or the general public. What are the investors? Investors might be businessmen or the general public. So to the investors is known as lending rate. The rate at which the commercial banks provide loans or gives loan to the investor or the general public is known as lending rate. Suppose somebody has came to commercial bank and they are asking for the loans, then at the interest rate, which the interest rate is going to be given to those person, will be that lending rate. Fine. Now, what is borrowing rate? The rate of interest, it is also rate of interest at which the commercial banks accept deposit is known as borrowing rate. Suppose Gaurav came to the commercial bank and he deposited his money into the bank, but the bank is going to give some interest to Gaurav. So in that case, whatever interest is being given to Gaurav, that interest rate is known as borrowing rate. Whatever interest rate is being given to that person by the commercial bank is the borrowing rate, and whatever interest rate is being charged from that person for having some loans, then that interest rate is known as lending rate. Now students, the lending rate is always more than the borrowing rate. The interest which is charged by the commercial bank is always more than the interest rate which is always given to the customers by the commercial bank. That's how they they earn the profit, because their lending rate is more. They are receiving more interest and they are giving less interest rate. So the difference between the lending rate and borrowing rate is the profit. The difference between the lending rate and borrowing rate is their profit. Suppose the lending rate is 8% and the borrowing rate is 5%, and the 3% which is the difference, that is the profit which is earned by the commercial banks. Is that clear, students? Now let's come to the next topic, LRR. You already know what is LRR. LRR is that compulsory portion which the commercial bank has to keep it with itself as cash reserves. Now, the LRR, if LRR increases, you already learned about the money multiplier. What was the formula of money multiplier was? Money multiplier formula was 1 upon LRR. Is that clear? Now, if LRR increases, then credit creation by the commercial bank decreases, and if LRR decreases, the credit creation increases. Basically, they are inversely proportional. If LRR increases, the credit creation decreases. If LRR decreases, the credit creation increases. Let's see, for example, if suppose LRR is 10% and initial deposits are 10,000, and here in this example LRR is 20%, this has increased, and the initial deposit is same as the 10,000. Now let's calculate the total money creation. What was the formula? Total money creation was initial deposit into 1 upon LRR, right? So initial deposit is 10,000 and LRR is 10%. So we can write it like 10,000 into 1 upon 10 upon 100. This 100 will go here, then it will become 10,000 into 100 upon 10. Now the total money creation will be 1 lakh. So basically this has increased 10%, 10 times. Money multiplier is 10 times. Let's solve this one. Here the LRR is 20%. Again we have to calculate total money creation, which is initial deposit into 1 upon LRR. Here initial deposit is the same, that is 10,000, and the value of LRR is 20%. So we can write it here as 1 upon 20 upon 100, and this 100 will go here. So we can write it as 100 upon 20, and this will become 50,000 as total money creation. So here is 1 lakh and here is 50,000. Here the money multiplier is 5 times. This was 10,000 and total money created is 50,000, that is 5 times. Here the initial deposit was 10,000 and we have total money creation as 1 lakh. So money multiplier is 10 times and here money multiplier is 5 times. So students, that's it for this portion. Let's come to the next part. There are a few numericals which you need to practice. Now let's do the first numerical. Initial deposits are given, which is 20,000 rupees, and LRR is given, which is 10%. Now you need to calculate total money creation. You already know what is the formula of total money creation. The formula of total money creation is initial deposits into money multiplier, or we can call it 1 upon LRR. Fine. Now let's put down the values. Initial deposit is equal to rupees 20,000 and value of LRR is 10%. Now 20,000, note it down, and this 10% can be written as 10 upon 100, and this 100 will go here, and thus we can write it as 20,000 into 100 upon 10. And as you can see that value of money multiplier, or we can call it 1 upon LRR, is 10, that is 10 times. This initial deposit will increase up to 10 times. So the value of total money creation will be 20,000 into 10 times, that is rupees 2 lakh rupees. Fine. So that's your answer. Note it down. Solve it in your copies. Friends, this is the new question, which is question number 2. Here LRR is given, which is 40%, and initial loans, mark out for here, initial loans, not deposits, initial loans are given. So you need to find out money multiplier and total money creation. Now money multiplier is easy, you can calculate it. So value of money multiplier is 1 upon LRR. So 1 upon LRR, value of LRR is 40%. You can write it as 1 upon 40 into 40 upon 100, and this 100 will go upside. So it will become 100 upon 40, and it will be 2.5 times. So you can write it as money multiplier is equal to 2.5 times. So your first answer is here. Now you need to calculate initial deposits. Initial deposits. But in the question you have given initial loans, which is 3 lakhs. Now in the question it's given LRR is 40%. It means that 40% of the cash of the initial deposit has been restored by the commercial bank. Only the 60% which has been given as loan. So we know that 60%, with that 60% we can calculate 100%, we can get the whole initial deposit. So to calculate initial deposit, we have to write down the value of 60% of loans into 100 upon 60%. With that 60%, because 60% has been given as loan, so 60% can be converted into 100%. That's how you are going to convert it. So it will become 5 lakh rupees. So your initial deposits are 5 lakh rupees. Now with the help of initial deposits and money multiplier, you can calculate the value of total money creation. So students, start calculating total money creation. You already know the formula, which is initial deposits, which are 5 lakh into 1 upon LRR. Value of LRR is 2.5 times, or 1 upon LRR's value is 2.5 times. So 2.5 times. Multiply it. Total money creation is equal to, if you multiply it, it will be 12 lakh 50,000 rupees. So this is your total money creation, students. So these are your some numerical problems. Now let's come to the next topic. Students, this is your last topic for this whole chapter, the differences between commercial bank and central bank. Now sometimes in your board exam this question has been asked in 3 to 4 marks. So only 3 to 4 points you need to learn by heart so that you can do it easily. Now the first difference is, what is commercial bank? Commercial bank performs under the supervision and guidelines of the central bank. Commercial bank has to follow the rules and regulations which are made by the RBI, by the central bank. And what is central bank? Central bank is the apex institution. It is the father of all the commercial banks, which controls all the banking system in a nation. It controls each and every financial institution of a country, in which includes all the commercial banks. So commercial banks are run under the supervision and guidelines of the central bank, and central bank is the apex monetary institution which controls all the commercial banks. Now the second difference is, commercial banks are owned by government or by private sector. Both the sector can own a commercial bank, but a central bank, it is only owned and controlled by government. Not any private sector can own and control the central bank. It is controlled by government. Now, commercial bank. The motive of commercial bank is to profit maximization. They earn the profit by what sources? By increasing the lending rate and decreasing the borrowing rate. The difference between lending rate and borrowing rate is the profit for the commercial bank. So their motive is profit maximization. And what is the motive of central bank? Its motive is public interest. In times of low money supply, when people don't have much money with themselves, then the central bank allows the commercial bank to decrease their repo rate, to decrease their reverse repo rate, to decrease their bank rate, so that people can have more loans and the money creation, money supply can increase. Now, the fourth one, power of issuing of currency. Commercial bank has no power to issue currency, but central bank has the sole monopoly to issue currency. Central bank issues all your notes and coins. As you already know that RBI, the central bank, issues all the notes and coins, but the commercial bank has no power to issue the notes and coins. Now, the commercial bank deals directly with public and the central bank does not deal directly with the public. If you have to take loans and deposit money, you have to go to commercial bank. So you deal directly with the commercial bank. Commercial bank deals directly with the public. And what about central bank? Central bank deals with the commercial banks, not with the public directly. So it does not deal directly with public. Now the examples of commercial bank: SBI, PNB, Axis Bank, etc. And the example of central bank is the one and only Reserve Bank of India. Now students, there are some more facts about RBI which can be asked in your MCQ questions or 1 mark questions. First of all, RBI was formed on 1st of April 1935 in the place of Kolkata. So RBI was formed on 1st April 1935 in Kolkata. Now, RBI issues all coins and currency except ₹1 coin and notes. RBI issues all your notes, 5 rupee notes, 10 rupee note, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, 2000. But it does not issues coins and notes of 1 rupee. And who issues the 1 rupee note and coin? 1 rupee note and coins are issued by the Ministry of Finance. This is your 1 mark MCQ. Who issues the 1 rupee coins and notes? In India, Ministry of Finance issues the 1 rupee coins and notes in India. So students, that's all for this whole chapter, and we have completed the money and banking. In the next video, we are going to start the new unit of your syllabus. So that's all for this video. Stay home, stay safe, and see you soon.